to support owners, leaders and managers in business. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below. And as this is hot off the presser, we're proudly sponsored by High Point Access Limited, your number one-stop shop for all your working at heights and roofing needs. Find their details in all the links below. Thank you to High Point Access for your continued support of the Blades Ramble.
Like and subscribe to Blades Ramble.
What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I'm, of course, Jimmy, and this is hot off the presser. It wasn't me that was already talking for 5 minutes thinking that we were live and we weren't. It was you. It wasn't me. I didn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't get it wrong, think that we were live, and we're actually not live. I don't do that. Get it in the comments, actually. Will there ever be a time where I can go a decent amount of time, let's say a month, without anything messing up on a live stream? Because I'm not sure we'll ever get there now. What's it been, 3 years of the Ramble? And I still don't know what I'm doing. So apologies to all for being slightly late. I was, in my mind, I was talking to you for the last 3 or 4 minutes. So, yeah, let's start that again. So how are you all doing? Hope you're all well. Thank you to Thank you to everybody that joined me on Behind the Ramble at around 1 o'clock, I think it was, just before the presser. Just a little bit of something different on Behind the Ramble. It's okay not to be okay, as they say, and that is so true. Before I go any further in getting into this press conference, which I thought was quite topical, I wouldn't necessarily say newsworthy, but he was... Well, I suppose it is, actually. I suppose it is. He's gone very strong on certain subjects, which we'll get into. But I just do want to flag up that we've got a stream tonight on Ramble FC. And I know not all of you are interested, but it does indirectly affect Sheffield United. There's 8 games in the Championship tonight, and we are covering every single game with a watch-along. We've got a different person watching a different game. So we've got 8 football matches on the go. We're going to try and do it similar to how we did our Deadline Day stream, which went down so well. So if you're not already subscribed to Ramble FC, go and join us over there at 7:30 this evening for a Soccer Saturday style Ramble Soccer special. Oh, I said that all right, actually, without messing up. So, right. Chrissy Wilder. Before we get into his press conference, I do want to say a quick thank you to our sponsor. Do you want your favourite replica shirts for the World Cup? Check out okjersey.com. It's high quality jerseys starting from just £15. I love mine. From modern day shirts to the old classics that we all love. Use the code RAMBLE at the checkout to get 8% off your order. Get ready for the World Cup in style. And thank you to OK Jersey for their support of the Ramble. Thank you to OK Jersey, a fantastic product, but I am going to have to re-record that advert. If you go and get your Ramble discount, get your shirts ready for World Cup, because they do some really good stuff. But that I love mine, I have been called Gary Neville by about 4 different people now. You know, when he does his ridiculous Huel advert, I'm going to have to re-record it. I love mine. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? It sounded mank. It's ridiculous. Anyway, we're here for the press conference. So, let's stop rambling. What kind of a rambler are you? And let's get into it. The first question was, it was Rob Staten representing BBC Radio Sheffield today. And then that was followed by Danny Hall from the Sheffield Start. So, reflecting on the Derby win. He says... just as I get a spam call, that's just what you want when you're live on stream. It's emotional. A lot of energy goes into it, emotionally and in the preparation. I've said all along, it's not just another game, Rob. The target was 3 points. Win the football match. Job done. We were in control. We opened the game up with the sending off. And you could feel the energy around the place. Even when they scored to get back into it, maybe it felt edgier than it actually was, but 10 men against 11 is still an advantage. Then when it went to 10 versus 10, really, we should have won it more comfortably. Overall thoughts, though, job done. It doesn't quite say it in this transcript. Again, we get this from a transcript reader now, rather than me hurriedly scratching everything down. But he was saying it was quite disappointing, because it would have been an opportunity, in his opinion, without being disrespectful, to go on and beat them quite comfortably. He says, of course, 30,000 Sheffield United fans would have loved 11v11. I said to the players afterwards, maybe after 30 minutes it became a little bit too easy for us. The start was right, the goals were right, and the result was right. The second half wasn't as comfortable as it should have been, and we have to look internally at that. On the red card then, he said, Calvin's tackle, I think he's a bit unlucky. Players are taught to tackle with energy and power. He's committed fully. Maybe the state of the game has to be taken into account. It's a derby. He's full-blooded and he's caught him. There's mixed opinions on it. It's a 60-40 or a 50-50. It's not an absolute red card in everybody's mind, but he's been sent off, so we pay the price. It should have been more comfortable than it was, but the objective when the fixtures came out was simple. Win at home, win at their place, and we've done that. Nice. In terms of this, I feel like, and this is just my opinion, he's obviously going to protect his players. I think at the time he said he thought it was a red card. I did as well. There has been a lot of people, not just Blades fans, but neutrals as well, saying they think it's a harsh red. So it is certainly dividing opinion. I do think he protects Calvin Phillips a little bit. And I don't mean like he needs protecting and he's mollycoddling him, because I don't think he is. But I think you can tell how Wilder values Phillips by the way that he backs him, if that makes sense. I think would he have said the same about a Samari tackle like that, maybe? I don't know is the honest answer, and we'll never know. But I do think when you listen to him talking about Calvin Phillips, Wilder clearly respects Phillips as a player and what he's done. And this is no surprise, and this is not, it's just the immediate vibe that I get is that he's delighted that Phillips is here, and he sort of handles things very carefully and respectfully when talking about Calvin Phillips. So whether he's made a mistake or not, he's going to back him. There was a bit of a long piece then on Henrik Pedersen. Rob asked him, you've clearly got a lot of respect for Henrik, and how has that come about? And he said, I love Chris Wilder. I absolutely love him. He says, my respect for Henrik has always been there. And he didn't say this bit, but I remember it very well. Not the other one. No, I didn't respect the other one because of the way he reacted in the lead up to one of the derby games, or reacted in the lead up to one of the derby games. I reacted before the first derby. I'm a reactor. People from Sheffield tend to react rather than instigate, but with Henrik, I've always got on well. We spoke briefly after the game and again this morning. People ask, is he good on the grass? Is he tactically good? At this level, everyone's decent, let me tell you. But it's bigger than that. He's taken a job under incredibly difficult circumstances. Players leaving, financial constraints, injuries. A squad that, if we're honest, isn't prepared for the championship. And every morning, he has to walk into that building and inspire everyone. Staff, coaches, players, supporters. If he walks in feeling sorry for himself, people will see it, and managers can't do that. Look at their squad. Senior players towards the back end of their careers. He mentioned Liam Cooper, which again it doesn't have in transcript. He says Liam Palmer's been a brilliant servant to Sheffield Wednesday. Liam Cooper's been there, obviously there. I thought it all fell apart for Wednesday when Cooper got taken off. My dad was saying the same. He says, look at their squad. Academy lads thrown in earlier than ideal. Loans that aren't ready made for championship to be championship difference makers. It's not like a Tommy Doyle or a James McAtee. They're just not of the level. He's had to get a tune out of that, and that's hard. He should be judged when he's got a team capable of competing properly, not in the situation that he's inherited. I like him, and I hope he has a successful career. Just incredible from Chris Wilder. On passion between the managers, he says, we all want to win. We all know how hard the job is. If you say nothing, you're not passionate. If you speak, you've got too much to say. You wear a tracksuit, you should be wearing a suit. If you wear a suit, you should be wearing a tracksuit. Everyone's got an opinion. Some don't. I'm in the manager's camp. Some I don't like. Some I think are frauds. Some give everything. Henrik gives everything. What a man. What a man. Love it. Respect. Just straight down the line. No PR. No nothing. Just this is what I'm telling you, I think. On Cov and their season, it says they've had a great start. They've kept the group together, added well in the summer, built off a strong playoff finish, which in my opinion, they should have won that game against Sunderland. They've had a little dip, but that dip happens. If that dip happens earlier in the season, nobody says anything. They've responded now, turned Middlesbrough over. They did to Middlesbrough what we tried to do to Middlesbrough. They bossed it. They'll come here buoyant, full house, great atmosphere. On current form, ours is good, but we'll have to be at our best. On dealing with playoff disappointment, he says that's football. When the champagne's dripping from the ceiling, like I've said, it's great. But how do you deal with the disappointment? We dealt with it the next morning, straight back to work. And then, obviously, things happened that we've already talked about, meaning that he was unceremoniously sacked. Both clubs had to get on with it. That's why we're professionals. You accept the laws and inspire people again. Frank's a great example. He could walk away, do media work, relax, be a pundit, have the champagne in Chelsea's posh seats, but he doesn't. He wants that winning feeling. He was a winner on the pitch, and now he's a winner as a manager. That's what drives you. Really good, really good. He was then rightly asked about the disciplinary record, saying it's a problem, isn't it, Chris? 5 red cards in 2026. He says it's a problem. Some we'd challenge, some we felt are harsh, but we're a committed side. We compete. He was going back through them all, and he was like trying to half justify a couple of them. But we compete, we tackle, we go for headers. I don't want to take the fire out of this team. We just can't step over the line, and that's fair. Now that Phillips is unavailable, will Jairo Riedeveld, is he in a position to step up? He says, yeah, he's trained. To be fair, he could have been on the bench on Sunday. He was fit enough, but we decided to give him more time to train. He says we've prepared him specifically for Coventry. He's ready. Gyro, baby. Gyro. We haven't sung that for a while, have we? You are the reason I breathe. On emotional and physical impact of the derby, it says it affects everyone. But nobody's giving the manager a rest, so the players don't get one either. That's Championship football. Portsmouth away, Derby at home, now Coventry. Derby at home, meaning the Derby at home. Now Coventry, who've been top nearly all season. Another challenge, a full house, fantastic away support. Looking forward to a proper top-end Championship game. Then he talks about Harrison's goal. This was Danny Hall. Harrison's goal and the development of the team. And he says nothing but positives for Harrison. Young players' careers aren't linear. They dip. It happened to me when I were here as a player, he says. Harrison, Siddy, Cooper, Blaster. It's their first proper seasons at this level, which obviously it's not for Cooper, it's not for Harrison, but what I was meaning was it's the first real stint at the top at this sort of level of football, and setbacks happen. You don't panic, you support them. His second half on Sunday was outstanding. Energy from nowhere. We turned down bids for Brooks and Femi in January. Strong England recognition for Siddy, and Arblaster's been in the mix as well previously. Strong valuations internally and externally. We believe in them as players. I'm just going to have a look. Oh yeah, it does come onto it as well. On Bamford's impact, Danny asking about, having a proper number 9 in the building is huge. Pat's been brilliant. He's tactically very important for us. Technically excellent. His goal on Sunday was effortless. Off the pitch, he's a culture setter. Brilliant with young players. Great standard setter. We've had success in that market, and he's been a big part of the turnaround. Because Danny were basically saying there's been a history of some great free transfers here. Where does Bamford rank? And he's saying right up there. Couple more. He says on Brooks and Femi's contracts. Then Steve Bettis said at the Fab Fans Forum. So the Fan Advisory Board arranged a fans forum for those that aren't aware. It was a Q&A with Stephen Bettis. We were fortunate enough to attend, but anybody could have attended as well. So next time there is anything like that, I would strongly encourage anybody to go if they want to voice their opinion or at least hear from the chief exec or whoever might be the speaker next time. Really strong event put on by the Fab. Well done to them again. I'm going to try and get all my material sorted out from behind the Ramble that I recorded and get that uploaded as well soon. But he says basically, Danny was saying basically, Steve Bettis was alluding to the fact that we might have an extra year's option on both Brooks and Femi, because it was believed that they were now in the last 18 months. But if we've got an option, they've got 2.5 years left. Does that mean that talks have maybe stalled on new deals for them, or they're on the back burner for the time being, says Danny? He says, no, the owners are over this week. They should be over in the next day or two. What Steve said at the fans forum was absolutely spot on. Everything from the recruitment to the academy, protecting assets, the culture. They've got options in the deals, but we shouldn't let it drift. I expect positive discussions about extending them. On Gus and Tyrese, he says, I want to keep my best players. In terms of, they do have 18 months left. He says, I want to keep my best players. Gus has been outstanding. Tyrese has been a good player for the football club. But we respect their representatives and where they see their futures. We'll see how it evolves. Which I thought was a little bit cryptic. But so we're not quite there yet on either deal. I do have a feeling, and it's purely a feeling, that Gus is quite settled at United. He certainly appears to be. And I wonder if it's closer to being able to extend him than... Because I thought that's not possible. But I do think his stock has dipped slightly externally, if that makes sense. I think recently... Look, he's had a bad season for Sheffield United. But recently he has really picked up. I'd say the last half dozen games. Well, it's 6 assists in 6 appearances. It speaks for itself, doesn't it? So Gus, signing a new deal could be huge for us. Anyway, so that was it. That was the presser from Chrissy Wilder. I want to know what you guys thought. I thought it was, again, like I said at the top, very topical. It's a huge game tomorrow night. Absolutely huge. And I'm excited for it. I'm a little bit, I won't say I'm nervous, but I don't know. I'm a bit tentative going into it because there's a lot at stake. We did a countdown to kick off, myself and Lee, who has been an unbelievable addition to that show, by the way. Lee comes on and gives sort of a different perspective to stuff rather than me just talking through the teams and what we can expect from both sides. Lee actually gives some substance to what we're saying. And he would take a draw if I offered him it now. Would you take a draw? I'm not sure I would. Look, they're the league leaders and you have to respect everything that they bring. So ultimately, a draw is a good result. But I just think if we are going to really have a go for these playoffs, we can't. We've made that many mistakes earlier in the season. We now have to compensate for that by overperforming in this last third of the season. That's just my opinion. Anyway, let's get to your comments before we go, because my family should be back and I am going to see them for the first time in 5 days after I've wound down this stream. First one live in a while for me. Looking forward to it, says Matt. Up the Blades Ramble. Thank you, my mate. Feeling confident for this one. 5-0 hammering would be good, but happy to just win the game. I don't know if you're like a game behind, Matt. It certainly will not be 5-0 Sheffield United. I'll tell you that for nothing. Or 5-0 Coventry, I would have thought, all being well. Afternoon, Jimmy and the Ramblers. 2-0 Blades against the Sky Blues, says Paul. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Paddy gets 2 goals. He's in form, mate. We fear no one. I reckon we can get a playoff place. I hope you're right, pal. Where are you, Jimmy? Yeah, sorry, I was slightly behind talking to myself for the first 3 or 4 minutes. Thom says, first time I've been able to catch a presser live for a while. He has a way of getting us up for it, doesn't he? I love the respect he has for Frank. It's got to be a chess match tomorrow night, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely right. Maniac says, greetings, Blades fans. Going to be a classic game, this one. Can feel it in my bones. May the best team win. Play up Sky Blues. Absolutely right. Love the fact that the majority of Cov fans, I've always found to be really, really good. Every fan base has got a couple of fools, but we get a lot of Cov fans coming in and commenting anyway. Claire's a big supporter. Obviously, we get on really well with Matt SB as well. There's others that jump in, and I'm delighted for them as a club. I have to say, it's it looks like they're gonna go on and kick on and get there this season. And if it can't be us finishing top, then why not Cov? I feel the same for Borough. All these non-parachute teams doing well, I really like. Let's have a look. It's a lot. It were a long presser. Must have a lot to say. It did. Pete says, hi Jimmy, got rushed into hospital Saturday night, so missed the derby, but glad the Ramble kept me entertained, so thank you, mate. Home now and ready for the next one. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Pete, let us know you're all right, pal. I know you're saying you're ready for the next one, but my God, that is... To miss the derby game must have been something serious, so I hope you're okay. Ian says, afternoon, Jimmy. Very businesslike. He really doesn't like sausage roll, does it? No, he does not. No, he does not. Davey Morwood says, afternoon, Jimmy and all the Ramblers. Missed the presser. I nodded off. Any ideas what the gaffer said? Well, hopefully you're up to speed now, pal. He says, up all the Rambles, up the Blades. Up the positive 6, like and subscribe. Thom says, hope you're doing okay, Pete. Sending my best wishes. Absolutely right. Well said, Thom. Adam says, capable of winning the game, but with Blaster and Gyro not fit, I'd be fine with a point. Well, Adam, we've heard it here now, haven't we? Gyro is being prepared for this game. I think it's going to be Gyro and Peck, and I think that's a really good balance. A lot of people would say Gyro's more established in the team and less rusty than Calvin Phillips. Obviously, Gyro's now been out for a while, so that sort of maybe resets that a little bit. But Gyro, it's never a drop-off when Gyro comes into the side for me. Up the Blades Ramble, says Matt. Love that, pal. Blimey, he's turned up. There's no need for that. No need for that, FX. You're better than that, pal. Dan says, don't care how we get them, but need 3 points out of this. Their midfield looks scary, though, up the Blades. Yes, it does, Dan. Yes, it does. They've got a fantastic midfield. Grimes, Onyeka, and Radoni dropping in as well. And then even out wide, it'd be Mason, Clark, and Sakamoto. Yeah. Afternoon, pal. Hope you're well, says Jamie. Sorry I can't stay long. I'm at work. Don't you worry, pal. You'll catch up whenever you can. I am well, thank you. Hope you are too. Mark Meldrew, love Wilder. Wouldn't want anyone else. Gyro back in for me, and sounds like he's close. He doesn't like roll, does he? No, he doesn't. Love the Tango intro. Like and subscribe to Blades Ramble. Yes, top man. It took him about 3 goes, all being told. That's pulling it behind the curtain. You better watch. It wouldn't be a ramble without an issue. Correct. It's what we've come to know and love, or know and understand at least. Chariot says, could do with results going favourably tonight. We need as much wriggle room as possible. Should have been 3-0 at half-time. 40 minutes with a man down. No complaints there. Red came just too late up the Blades. Well, if you're going to be watching the games tonight, then why not join us on Ramble FC for a full 8-game watch-along with 8 different fellas watching 8 different... Yeah, you know how it goes. Soccer Saturday style. It's the Ramble Soccer Special tonight on Ramble FC. We can win Coventry with Paddy up top, says Paul. Callum O'Hare and Gustavo Hamer will be the main men against the Sky Blues. Their ex-club, We Blades, will win and shock them with Paddy scoring twice. We're too strong for them. Oh, Paul, don't be too confident, pal, because it's a big fall. We have to respect who's coming here. They're top of the league. Middlesbrough bossed us, or just outdid us in the end, and it were a fair cop. They were very, very good. And then Coventry turned them over the following game. So we have to respect what's coming. Regal says, glad Wilder was protecting Calvin Phillips. Just hope it's mutual by now. As we know from KP's interviews, he never spoke to Wilder when he made his decision. So hoping KP won't just be here for a kick. Yeah, I've been sort of, not disappointed, but just surprised a little bit by some of his interviews. I love it. I love the fact he's here. I think he's another one that raises the levels. But he's not really gone all in with... But he's a Leeds boy, isn't he? He's a Leeds boy and there's history. So maybe he's just got to acclimatise to things. And I still think he'll be a fantastic player. I thought he was so good until he got sent off on Sunday. Paul says, afternoon, Jimmy. Looking forward to the Hull v Derby stream. I'm covering that one. We did a draw last night on Behind the Ramble. And I am the one covering it. Oh, somebody at your door. Who's at my door? Oh, yes, my girls are back. Right. So I'm going to hurry up. Phillips needs to redress things in the right way, both for the fans and the players who saw us through Sunday without drama. Hope he realises it was an unnecessarily uncomfortable second half. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Well said, pal. Oh, Lord Michael Brown says, Jimmy, don't you think because of Sheffield United's disciplinary record, Tanganga, Samari, Bamford... I'll come and see you in a minute. Love you. Tanganga, Samari, Bamford, Rothwell and Phillips... of late, it may start to cost the Blades a playoff place, as they are vital players. No, I think get through this little period, Michael, and we should be all right. Great coverage. Watch along on the Ramble for the Steel City Derby. Lost Jamie for a while due to connection issues from Australia, but the boys did the Ramble proud, Jimmy, with the coverage. Love to hear it. Just imagine if Wilder had started the season with his own summer signings going into the start of the season. I'm sure the Blades would have been much higher in the league, challenging for autos. John Asquith jumped on and said, from the games that Wilder's managed, if you went points per game by Wilder's reign, we'd be second in the league by now. Matt says, afternoon, Jimmy. Hope you're good, pal. Really think if we can win tomorrow, we'll get the playoffs. My head says 1-1, but my heart says 2-1 to us. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Big T. Nah, then, Jimmy lad. Let's get the other win tomorrow. 2-0 Blades. Come on, the Blades. Ramble on the Road out now on the Blades Ramble by Big T. Absolutely brilliant. Ollie Arblaster's favourite. Hope all's well, Pete, says Dave Marwood. There's too many Matthews on here, says another Matthew. Got a feeling tomorrow at 1-1 and I'll be happy with that. And Pete says, I'm okay, thanks guys. Having a few days off to relax and a win at the Lane will get me 100% up the Ramble. Top man. Repeat of last season beating Cov with that Hamer free kick last season, says Michael. That one. Yeah. Thoughts on the Coventry fan base tagging the EFL or FA being to get Hamer banned for his kick out on Sunday? Again, that'll be the minority. And it's desperate. It shows he's a threat. And I think that will probably work in our favour. When it doesn't work, it's very easy to say to Gus, isn't it? They fear you. Look, they fear you. Okay, we're going to call it there. Thank you to everybody that's joined me. The next time you see us, we'll be on Ramble FC tonight. Next time we'll be on the Ramble will be 90 after 90, which will be Thursday, I believe. In fact, there's a show that I've recorded with Cal that's a QPR preview as well, coming out at 5 o'clock on Thursday. All sorts of content going on. If you're not already subscribed, please go and support us on all 3 channels by liking and subscribing to all the videos if you enjoy them. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards! Up the Blades! Shout, shout!